All right, we are live.
Hello, you're listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode number 326. Tonight I'm joined by Jared Schneiderman.
Hey, guys.
Nicholas Pacone.
Stop!
And the Red Empress herself, Ginger Christensen. What's up,
Hi.
guys? What's going on tonight? Everyone doing good? Oh, FYI, real quick, my power might go out during this podcast because my power always goes out during windstorms, and there's like one crucial windstorm going on right now in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Mine's definitely gone out today also. So.
Oh, wow.
I've already
had
one.
We might lose.
Ohio. That's right, the Ohio people. I saw the other chick, Natalie. She's in Ohio. She said her power's out for like days. There's like some storm that rolled through.
We had hail.
Damn.
Jesus.
It dipped for like just a little bit up here for me, but that doesn't mean it won't go out again. Cleveland is pretty notorious for crappy power.
Right. So fingers crossed. My backyard, like, it's so funny. My one side of the street, it's only about like 15 houses. It constantly goes out. Every single time there's like a windstorm, it's just our side of the street. And it happens at least 10 times a year.
Is that like,
hopefully not.
Is that always the weirdest thing? Is it like you'll have power on your street and but only one side of the street has power, and so you're looking at the people across the street going, these sad sons of bitches, they don't even know what it's like to have power. They're back in the Stone Age over there. We have the same thing here. Like, honestly, it was weird here. It isn't even by like one side of the street versus the other. It literally depends on the house. Some have it, some don't, between the two providers.
Sucks. Yeah, I only deal with one. We got like this huge conglomerate called BG, and like they own everything. So you're only dealing with one. Oh well, hopefully it doesn't go black tonight. But I guess get started the topics. Ginger, you came up with a fascinating topic that none of us had really heard of. So you mind filling us in?
It was all over a bunch of the groups. It just wasn't in PRL, which is my fault. I should have brought this to Punk Rock Libertarians. We're going to talk about Libertitties. Titties!
Nice.
Libertitties and Just Ass for All. Woo!
Just Ass for All.
That's a podcast title.
That's great. Just Ass for All.
I do like ass.
This is more proof that libertarians throw better parties, and we do. I mean, we just do. Our parties are more fun. Nobody's jumping over top of everybody about socially correct statements. They're talking about titties. Nobody's on the other side talking about like how to be proper Americans. They're talking about titties. We're talking about titties. That's what we're doing in the libertarian groups.
How dare you objectify people by talking about titties?
They objectified themselves, and they had a good time with it.
So, I need an explanation. What the hell is this referencing?
Right.
Please elucidate.
Does it have to reference anything, Nick?
Yes.
So I feel like that guy, that character on SNL that goes on and explains the nightclub things. Like, so this is the thing where two midgets. No, so Libertitties happened because everybody was showing off their I voted ballots in the Joe Jorgensen 2020 group. And it was a whole lot of really hot chicks doing it. And they're showing it off. And they're like, yeah, look at this. And they're having a great time. Like, here's my ballot, but here's these hot chicks with titties. And then more and more of them are doing it because they're just having fun. And it's funny. And it becomes like this running joke. It started spreading to several groups. It's now trending on Twitter. It's got some groups just devoted to Libertitties over on MeWe.
Nice. On MeWe,
spreading across
it must
still have to make an account.
It must be because I'm an ass man that it hasn't come up.
Oh man.
Well, Just Ask for All.
Just Ask for All, bro.
On MeWe, it's specifically called Libertitties and Just Ask for All. So you can go and find that one.
So wait, does MeWe have like groups and shit?
Yeah.
Is it like Facebook?
There is a Punk Rock Libertarians group on MeWe.
Totally on there.
Did you start it, Otto?
Matt did. That was Matt.
No, actually, I think I did. I think I forgot about it.
It said created by Matt Bergman. So that's
really?
I assume, yeah.
Oh no, I made one on Minds. That's where I made one.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I went to promote about tonight and being on the show, in fact, and I posted in some of the groups that I'd be on here talking about Libertitties, I'm obligated to do that every time I say Libertitties, okay?
So is this like a hashtag people are trying to make a thing? I'm totally down with that.
It's totally a thing. It's already a thing.
Is it on Twitter, you said?
Yeah, it's trending on Twitter. I think there's some pages on Twitter or whatever you call it.
All right, guys, I might need to log off for a second.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah.
No, it's
Literally.
just gonna be me. It's gonna be
Good
me, Otto, and Jared's screens are just gonna go to
Yeah,
audio
it's
only
all
for a little bit. You're gonna hear a lot of
you talk, right? It's like,
Yeah, you don't want to end up like that fucking guy from like the New Yorker.
That's
do you
bound
see
to
he got fired? Do you see he got fired?
Did he get fired finally?
Yeah, he posted a tweet saying he got fired, and everyone's just lighting him up.
Oh my God.
If anybody hasn't heard, he thought his screen was off, and was he a New York Times contributor, or do you guys know his title? It was like New York Times, right?
He actually had a few titles with a few different groups.
Okay.
He was a muckety muck in like the New York media scene.
Yeah, and so he thought his screen was off, and he wasn't. His fat ass was just sitting there like jerking off, like standing up too, like doing it. From what I heard, I didn't even see the pictures of it, but apparently they're out there
in a Zoom meeting, like a professional setting.
Well, happens to the best of us.
I was gonna say, like, it's bound to happen to me at some point. Like, I didn't expect today to be the day, but I mean, one of these days, like, gonna happen.
Right. So yeah, okay. So now I think I know what you're talking about, Ginger.
I found the Libertitties.
Yeah, I didn't know there was groups designated for this, but I saw in like the Joe Jorgensen groups, these girls kept posting pictures that were like, they weren't even, because it started out as like, I wasted my vote. And so they had like, so it was like hashtag I wasted my vote on, today, so they would post pictures with their I voted sticker. And then it kind of just evolved into these girls that were just like, oh yeah, I wasted my vote the other day, but here's a picture of me today, and here are my boobs. Like that's pretty much what it evolved into. And then the thing that really like got to me was like, okay, that's cool. But then they were like, I can't believe people would be objectifying me, and I can't believe I have guys sending me friend requests. And I'm like, well, you posted a group full of thousands of, libertarians. It's bound to happen.
Are you essentializing men? Are you saying that we're all ridiculous hornbags that will gravitate towards breasts like it's something that we've craved since childhood?
Yeah.
like maybe it's hardwired into us? God.
It was my notice that, like, for the most part, people were just pretty cool about it and respectful and like, oh yeah, good for you, haha, I'm joking around. There were a few people that got some butthurt going, and there were a few people that were creepy. And for that matter, like, I never posted any liberties. Not that I wouldn't, I just didn't happen to do it. And I got some guys from a number of groups, not just libertarian ones, but especially because it was political season, so that's where I happened to be posting. And they were like random dudes were trying to do what random dudes do sometimes and be like, I'm looking for the perfect woman. And I'm like, well, I'm not it.
I just want to send
Bob and Vagine.
I just want to send a message out, guys. Like, just be a creep like you're supposed to be a creep. Let them do what they're going to do and just kind of watch from a distance.
Right.
You leave them alone, they'll do their thing. What you're going to end up doing is ruining it for the rest of us. Just want to be scumbags without people knowing.
And I don't do the creepertarians bit. The creepertarian bit, you know what? I never add girls on Facebook. I think Ginger might be the only exception because Matt was like, you need to get Ginger on. And I'm like, I don't think we're friends. But like, I don't add girls and stuff. So they always add me. And so this one girl, she was like, yeah, for all you guys who added me, you must just think I'm cute, but I'm really just weird. And so I commented on hers. I said, you added me, so you must think I'm cute, but I'm actually just weird.
I thought you were.
And then Phil's wife has entered the chat.
No, it's cool. I don't do anything. I see it. Yeah. It's so, oh God, it's so cringy. These guys. Some of the stuff they say, it's just like, and the girls will screenshot the post, and I'm like, okay. I think he was even forget whose wife it was. she just added me. She added me on Facebook too, and what her profile picture was, her like on some type of like, what was it, a board, wake, or what kind of board is you stand up and paddle, and she was on that
paddleboard.
Yeah, okay, so it's paddleboard. Okay, so she's paddling on it, and she's in like almost like a thong, bathing suit, and that's her profile picture. And then she was just posting like, "Hey guys, can you stop sending me this, stuff?" And she was like, "I can't believe," and she even said something along the lines of like, "I can't believe people would, objectify me," kind of. I'm like, "Oh, you kind of did it yourself there a little bit, but hey, more power to you. You want to do that. That's cool." But I mean, it comes with the territory, unfortunately.
I hate that whole objectification thing because she does the same shit. She sees a good-looking piece of meat. Because guess what? There are good-looking pieces of human meat.
There's three in this chat right now.
Just happens.
Oh yeah,
happens.
Sometimes when the guys were posting their libertitties, some of the girls did the same thing, man.
I did see a lot of those on the Twitter feed.
And so, we don't have to be creepy, and we also don't have to be overly reactionary. I think that the grand majority of people were just having a good time, though. They were just down for the party. And really, when random dudes message me on the internet from wherever, because it's not just usually it's not from a libertarian group. It just, there's where I was posting most. Sometimes it's from whatever music group I'm in or something. I just send them links to my content.
But you're still in music groups online?
What?
You're still in music groups online?
Some of them.
I haven't been in a single one since like 2010. I feel like it became so useless. I stopped.
It became a little useless, but I'm in some, and so like I don't know. People just message you. That's just the internet. That's how. Are you guys new on the internet? Like, why are you getting so reactionary and pissed off? Like,
just to be aware, people, internet. You got to be careful with that. I will try and wrangle you into a three-way with me and my wife, and it'll just be what it'll be.
Your wife is hot.
I agree. My wife is hot. I feel bad. I'm not able to take advantage of the fact that like we could do that because I'm holding the team back here.
Dude, next time in Ohio, just let me know.
I mean, Otto's over there ready to go.
Just for the record, that's not the first person that's ever pulled that. We're just hanging out with a guy a couple maybe years or so ago, and he just we're hanging out in my house watching a movie. And by the way, my kid's there and shit too. And he texts me, so like, how does this work? And I'm like, what the fuck?
What? Wow.
And I mean, we had a conversation. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. That was a little awkward, the kid there and everything. But I don't know, honey. Would you fuck him? Like, I don't know.
Jeez,
it was weird.
So how was it?
Oh no. Honestly, the thing that was the real turnoff was that he had a girlfriend that he was stepping out on to do it. I think if he could, if he wanted to work her in, it would have been a no big deal thing. But
Jesus.
Yeah.
But it skeeved the wife out. Like, I don't know if I'm down with that. Like, she's been in her house too.
Cheaty McGee. I don't know. Like, ew.
Yeah.
I don't like cheaty people.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like, if that's going to be the situation that you set up and you're cool with it, then whatever. That's how your relationship works. It's the whole like, we didn't agree to this, and you're keeping secrets from people, and that's just. Well, fuck. Even in that scenario, like from a health standpoint, what the fuck you lying to us about if you're gonna lie to your significant other? It's a good way to pick some shit up, bro. I'm bringing that home.
Right.
True.
Right. Jesus. Well, I mean, that's a pretty awkward.
It was real fucking awkward. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that. I figure it's gonna be an organic thing if it's gonna happen, not like selling her or anything. And then there's the race thing. Like, am I selling this beautiful black woman? Is she now a piece of meat? Really? Like, I don't know.
I mean, did you really want to turn off like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
I would have
test to do that. It's like I really want to watch the end of this movie. Okay,
dude, I do want to watch the end of that movie. Do not even get me started on how much I hate the Bill and Ted 3 because it didn't just rehash the ending of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
We don't have time for this, but I just want to say one thing. Maybe we could talk about this in after hours if any guys want to stick around. Might add, we do an after hours program directly after this. So if you guys sign up for our Patreon, for as little as $1 a month, you can hear us talk about the ending of Bill and Ted.
but for $5, that's what I challenge you.
$5,
because that's how much I send them every month.
Yeah, do what Nick does. Be like Nick.
Yeah,
that's my recommendation for everyone.
Who knows? You may have a wife that'll let you invite other women over if you are more like me. I don't know. I can't promise anything, but
yeah, just give us $5 a month and you'll find out. But one thing I did want to say though about Bill and Ted 3, there was no station. Spoiler alert. And that really upset me. So anyway,
don't get me started.
We gotta go. Let's move along. All right.
I have hours of material on that.
This is why I love you, Nick.
I can talk liberty sort of, but no, I'll give you hours and hours, maybe weeks of material on Bill and Ted 3. By the way, most of it's still political too.
Cheaper, like paying the Patreon is probably cheaper than actually watching the movie at this point.
It'll be more entertaining, I'll tell you that.
Yes, for sure.
There you go.
But anyway, I don't know
your impression.
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, but yesterday in Washington, D.C. was the Million MAGA March.
Million MAGA March.
Yep. It was a Trump rally of fans, supporters, sycophants, Proud Boys, all of them. They all came down to march in D.C. And it was actually a lot more people than I thought. I don't know if you guys, do you guys see any of this at all? Did you guys check this out?
No, and I was about to ask you, was it really like 50 people they just said was a million like the other Trump rally?
No, it was actually more people show up to this than his inauguration.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. There's pictures. There's aerial pictures. Now trust me, there's a few Trump fans that are trying to make it look like they're using it's clearly fake because you see the trees are all green and blooming and everything else like that. And they're like, see, look how many people turned out. And that's clearly from another protest. But this one actually, from the real pictures you'll see, because there'll be American flags galore and Trump signs galore. You see from an aerial shot, huge Trump signs. And this one is, I would think it was probably closer to 100,000 people showed up. It was really it surprised me because I was expecting maybe 1,000 people to be completely surrounded by Antifa.
This was in DC.
Yeah. And
was there any Antifa there fucking shit up?
Oh yeah. So news to share. What's his name? God, brain fart. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I couldn't even get paddleboard. Now I can't even remember this guy's name. Anyway, news to share. They had lots of videos of it. I know a lot of the right-wing commentators, Trump guys like Cernovich, they were posting it all on Twitter. But huge clashes with Antifa. They all showed up. BLM. They all showed up to fight, and it lasted long into the night too.
Wow.
Why do people always do that? It's so ridiculous. Have your own protest over there or your own rally or whatever. Quit fighting each other.
Oh no, you're missing the point then. The point is to catch the other side doing something that you can then send to the news about. That's the idea. You need to be able to share the violence that's created by the other side. That's why leftists go to rallies, because they want to get video of someone beating on them so that they can then send it to the news and say, look what they did. Doesn't matter that they edit out the beginning of that.
Yeah. I think that we should take this a step further with the Libertarians, and let's roll with the Libertitties. And we'll just, when we see rallies happening and we know both sides are just going to fight, we'll go and get up in the balconies and we'll all show off our titties instead.
Not everything has balconies, though. I'll totally roll through a town with my tits.
We'll bring live.
I thought it'll help.
Limp. And just fly it over your head with titties.
Wait. Here's what we gotta do. We gotta get a pickup truck. We get a pickup truck, and on the back of it, we have a tower built. And at the top of the tower, we have a balcony. So no matter where we go, we're a moving balcony.
Yeah,
it's gonna be more
above the frame. We gotta protect the nipple.
It's libertarianism is Mardi Gras wherever we go.
Yes.
Just throw beans.
You'll probably get more media
we
attention than the Jorgensen campaign.
I'm still salty about that.
Yeah, we all are. But anyway, so back to like if you watch these videos, like just once again, it's so funny to me. I don't know. There's a little bit of irony I saw from one of these videos where this one guy, he's just standing there. He's just a black guy. He's just standing there in between the protests, between the counter protesters and the Trump guys. And he's sitting there and he's just like intentionally just like being there, like, and the police were telling him, you need to go pick a side. He's like, you're telling me in America I have to go pick a side? I just want to stand here. I'm an American citizen. I'm standing on the street, on a public street. I have to go pick a side. And I'm like, wow, there's such strong metaphors there. Like,
allow me to reiterate, who were the people that got kicked off Facebook? It wasn't the ones that were staying in their groups.
Right.
It was the ones not picking sides. The only thing they care about is that you work for the narrative, and anything that doesn't work for the narrative is not real. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because they want that. They want the narrative more than anything.
So Nick, did you catch a restriction like I did? Are you restricted?
No. I have impressions of someday trying to make money on the internet, and so I keep shit pretty close to the vest just in case I need to use Facebook for advertising. So I generally don't go out and do the muckety muck thing.
Yeah, well, I do. So I got a restriction until November 28th.
Well, I don't got a cush government job, bro.
What is the restriction?
Remember, we chronicled this, I think like 2 podcasts ago. Was it complex?
Okay, so this is the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one. But I can't comment on groups or on. But it's so funny though. So one of the live streams that went on from one of like my local like news station was on, and I'm not allowed to comment in groups or on pages, but I could comment on their live feed. So I'm just sitting there like getting like 2 weeks worth of like just like anti-lockdown and anti-authoritarian just like messages on it. I'm like, do not comply. Like I must have sent like 500 messages in this like 15-minute video, just me going off because I haven't been able to communicate with anybody on these pages. And all I wanted to do is just like trash these, like the Washington Post comment section and WJZ and all the Baltimore Sun. And I can't do it right now, but so I'm in restrictions until November 28th at 8:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I want to know what is specific about that date. There has to be something legal on that date.
It was 30 days from. It was like literally it was a 30-day ban. It happened on like October. I don't know. You did work today. I was like October 29th or something like that. It worked out perfectly 30 days. So that's all it was.
Yeah, but you're not the only. You're not the only person that happened on that same day. That's my point. There has to be something about that day that they.
Well, I don't know.
Is important that they're trying to make sure that you don't have discourse until that date.
I think
we'll
it's just like
find out in a week.
That is true. Like there's stuff like all because we are returning like back into lockdowns in lots of states, and I think with the whole election results thing, they don't want us libertarians commenting on it, and that's what it is because this I know I know quite a few, not a lot, but pretty few people that are like right wing like MAGA people, and those circles. None of them caught restrictions. It was just libertarians. It's so strange. It was like 100 of libertarian people, and out of like the dozen or so, the MAGA people who like Timothy Boulay.
The MAGA people are saying similar shit on those lines, right?
I mean,
they tend to be anti-lockdown, right?
Right, but no. Well, yes. So they are saying. Okay, I know what you mean. Sorry, but yeah. They are. They're saying similar things, but they're not being restricted like I am. They're not being kicked off of Facebook. So I don't know. It's just happened to us libertarians this time.
Because they're a hammer. And like no one listens to them anyways. Like with a libertarian, like you can talk in nuance.
Yeah,
you're more of a threat.
You do? You have restrictions?
Oh yeah, and this has happened to me before because in the last election, I got hit with them right at the end, and so I know how to confuse the bot because I'm a little tech savvy. And so I am able to post. Right at first I wasn't, and I was able to get around it, but a lot of people got put on restrictions, and he's right, till about the same time. And what the bot had decided was my great sin was I'm Scandinavian, so sometimes I talk about that a little bit, not in a white pride sort of way. And so I had posted something from the Havamal, and they didn't like it. And they told me that the runes were marked as symbols of white pride or something. And so
serious?
you're not allowed to post runes.
They probably are.
And so it's still on moderation or moderation status or whatever, except for the bot has let it go because I know how to trick it. So I'm still able to post. And yeah.
Well, last
I'll
I knew,
message you and tell you what to do.
last I knew, Facebook thinks I'm a liberal, so I think they don't pay attention to me much, anyways.
Yeah, it likes to pay a lot of attention to me for some reason.
I voted Ralph Nader, so that's all it cares about.
I'm pretty naughty though. I mean, I post bikini pictures and stuff, so probably I can see why it would not like some of that. But to post something to put me on account restriction for that, which I had posted from Instagram, and Instagram didn't have a problem with it. And that's owned by Facebook.
Right. So it's so weird. The same things. Like I've gotten banned, or let's say not banned, but I've gotten things taken down from my Instagram because I do the PRL Instagram, and I post things on both. Usually, like I post on both simultaneously if I can.
They can't moderate those two the same though. If they got rid of bikini pictures on fucking Instagram, there would be no more Instagram.
Yeah, right? I mean, most Instagram is for the models. You know,
it's ethos, the whole thing.
But it's the same
and
thing.
Thank God for it.
Like I posted like the Ralph Northam, his picture of him in blackface, and then the guy next to him's like wearing like the Klan hood on, and it said Happy Black History Month from the Democratic Party. It was just like that meme that went around a few years ago, and I posted at the same time. Posted on PRL, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And like 2 months later, they took down the one on Facebook, but not on Instagram. And then same thing happened, or it was vice versa. Like I posted something on Instagram, they took that down, but they left it on Facebook. It was so weird.
Yeah,
these algorithms suck.
Yeah, they're not very good.
No, the algorithms suck.
And they suck.
So you can trick it pretty easily, but I'm really glad one of the other good things. So we were talking in pre-show. So here's my fifth favorite thing about this last election is there is yet another mass exodus from Facebook. Partially, Facebook did it on its own because it locked all these people out of accounts, so they just went somewhere else. But I'm really happy to see that because I've always hated that shit site. I'm on it more than I like. I don't enjoy it. It has always sucked, and MySpace was better. And Tom deserved better from us.
It was when they started letting the riffraff on Facebook. Like I liked it when it was just college kids. That was way better.
We let our boomer uncles and parents on. That's what ruined Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the SJWs would have flooded on there at some point, but
the SJWs would have been in the colleges.
Okay,
yeah.
I've got to sneak off. So one more titty shake. Here we go. Liberty.
Thank you for your service, Ginger.
You're welcome.
I salute you.
Peace.
See ya,
Ginger.
Cool.
Dun,
well,
dun, dun.
I'm glad she could, partake in this for a little bit. But yeah, we kind of touched on some of the things going on about exiting Facebook. I know there's been a lot of people moving to Parler, MeWe, Float, Minds, and I want to say like there's thing I've noticed from and this is in libertarian circles. So this isn't just my leftist friends. This is just in left libertarians. They are gloating. Like they're like, oh, you bunch of snowflakes leaving Facebook and going to Parler so you can say the N-word. And it's like, wait a minute. Like you didn't want us on here for the longest time, and you're like, oh, if you don't like it, just leave. And when people leave, you're like, oh, you're such a snowflake.
No, and then they follow you to that platform and try and get you banned there too. Just so
right.
I've definitely seen that one happen.
like they call it what, mind face. That's what they call it. Parlor.
Oh, mind
like,
face. Yeah.
I wish any of them were any good. That was the problem. Honestly, the only one that's any good is Parlor.
Parlor it's okay, but it's still just hard. It's
great.
just hard, man. You've been used to Facebook for like 15 years, you know. It's I'm so used to it, even with their updates and how everything goes. And everyone's on Facebook. It sucks that like I go to Parlor and there's a few people in Parlor. I go to MeWe and there's just a few people there.
I guess my question is, why does it matter like where those people are?
Well, I think for the whole purpose of like, I've told this story before, but there was a guy that I was just shit posting in the comment section of, I believe it's one of my local, I think it was Baltimore Sun actually, and in the comment section, and I was like, this would never happen if Ron Paul was president. And I just do that on purpose to get like see if anyone would like it. And this one guy liked it. And so I sent him a friend request. I'm like, dude, you like it? Like, are you libertarian? He's like, yeah. And eventually, and so after one conversation with him, he came out to my local Baltimore County Libertarian meeting.
And he raped
because of that.
You raped
what? So I'm just saying, like, there's people out there, and like he just didn't know about the libertarian movement or anything with the party. Like he just didn't know that was still active around here. And so through that, you can find and connect people. That's why I like however, as much as it sucks that everyone's on Facebook, it's also a blessing because you can reach people, and like that.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to convert people on other platforms. I mean, you might be able to convert some like MAGA guys that are on Parlor, maybe, but I mean, you're not going to be able to just reach the politically apathetic or just like the
but that's my point. Parlor people are already more politically engaged than Facebook people, just by virtue of what it is. They were clearly paying attention enough to leave.
Sure.
Also, most of the people that who are libertarians were probably neocons at one point. So you're already
some of them neocons and some of them socialists.
I'm not saying all, but my point is there is most of the people that I know are libertarians of the ilk that I'm sure you or I would prefer to have around were neocons at one point.
That's true. I mean, there is a lot. And
the Tom Woods people, they were all neocons. Very, very few of them are lefties like me or Dave Smith.
I was proud. Like I wasn't even a neocon. I really growing up. I mean, it was just like run of the mill, like just I guess liberty-minded Republican. Even as a kid, I was like, I never like growing up in like being because I think it was my involvement like listening to punk growing up, and once the war started and like being Catholic school, they taught us being anti-war, and then like I was like, oh, it's punk music I listen to. I'm like 13 years old. They're like they're against war too, and like it's just cool, and everything kind of just related. And then just like finally 2008 rolls around, I'm like, oh, there's anti-war Republicans, and it just it made sense and things just came together. So I was never really a neocon, but I know there is a strong contingent of people who are, like you said, I agree with you, like the whole Dave Smith and Tom Woods followers were all like ex-neocons, pretty much. I'd say for the vast general amount of people, I would say. And I think, and so it's you can try to recruit some of these people at Parlor, but a lot of these people now are just so stuck in their ways. So the people that are already on Parlor are like the hardcore. It's not just some random, guy who's like,
dude, I know so many ANCAPs on Parlor.
Really? I don't know anybody, man.
Get connect with my page. I know a ton of them.
All right, you're on there. Okay,
but the other more important thing is that you can tailor a message when you know what kind of people you're going at. You don't have to throw a wide net. You don't have to say something and try and make it appeal to so and so here and there and everywhere. You just say what you want to say for who's going to be in the place you're going to say it.
Yeah, but I always use this phrase. I like being a lighthouse. I say what I say, and I put it out there, and eventually you'll get a few people to see it.
I agree. You could be a better lighthouse if you know how bright you need to be in that scene, I guess.
I'm a terrible lighthouse then.
Well, I don't know.
I think you have to have. Ideally, you want to have a lighthouse on every platform, right? You want to have some libertarians on Facebook. You want to have some libertarians on Parlor, Minds, whatever. I mean, you don't want to completely vacate Facebook. No matter how much it sucks, there's still people there. You don't want to entirely abandon.
You want to, and you should.
But if we're talking
about government entity, you have to leave. You have to kill it. Same as
Wait,
YouTube.
what?
But YouTube is killing itself, so at least there's that. YouTube needs to end. And
You're saying you
end.
have to. You're saying you're morally obligated to leave Facebook now?
I'm saying you're morally obligated. I think it's if you ever want the issue fixed, yeah, you'll have to leave. Because the longer people stick around, the more it's just going to become a part of life.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing.
It already is a part of life.
It is. It sadly is. But
and
what
it's
you're
going to
saying
get
about
more.
YouTube. Well, YouTube. I mean, YouTube literally. They had the Tim Pool, Michael Malice, and Alex Jones podcast that was up that they just recorded, and they cut it out halfway through the podcast. They cut it out and they deleted it. They took it down, and you don't understand how many hundreds of. I mean, it had to have gotten at least thousands of views.
Oh no!
You know?
Oh no, it was in the millions.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say go to millions for sure, but yeah.
It was.
I looked at it.
So I mean, I watched a little bit of it too. So it's like why are they killing that reach? My God, you could have that many more people on your platform, and they just said, nah, we're better served, serving the NED and Atlanta Council.
Susan Wojcicki point blank said, "We know you don't want to watch the things that we tell you to watch and that we promote to you, but we're going to continue promoting them anyways." She literally said that in her Joe Rogan interview.
I don't.
Who?
Yeah. Wow.
Susan Wojcicki, the person who runs YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
She point blank said, why is everything that I get promoted, late night TV? And she nobody wants to watch it. So, we know you don't want to watch it, but that's what we're going to continue promoting to you because those are the people that pay us.
Because they're paying, yeah, of course.
Yes, Jimmy Fallon's people pay the money to keep the thing operating, and that's what it is. What it is.
It's so funny that you say that because
they undercut their own. They undercut the whole reason people went there in the first place. Is what's stupid.
There's this local comedian. There's this local
let
comedian.
Let it fail. Let it fail.
Well, yeah, but there's this local comedian. He kind of pointed it out to me. I listen to. He's also a sports guy. He talks on the radio that I listen to, but he's also a comedian. And he was like, "You understand now? The only reason why there's anyone watches late night shows is because Jimmy Fallon just goes for one clip that he can take down." And he can put on YouTube and get everyone to watch on YouTube. And that way it kind of alters, so it keeps it in the line. It keeps it in the, everyone viewing it, light. And I think that's it made sense to me. Wow, yeah, because no one's really staying up and watching Jimmy Fallon. They just wait for the next morning to get that clip off of YouTube. And oh, wow, it's funny. They're doing some wacky bit, and it's really not that funny, but it's, the general audience loves it. And I think,
no. The general audience doesn't really love it all that much either. Their ratings are nothing.
I was going to say, I mean, if they're, that's not really going to work for ratings, Phil.
Go and look at it. Go and look at
a YouTube clip after the fact isn't going to.
It's not helping
Nielsen, the Nielsen rankings are not going to be good.
Yeah, no. My point is it's not helping the ratings. What it's doing is it's getting the viral clicks because Facebook's, YouTube is pushing it.
That's actually where you're wrong. It's not there either. Go and look at some of those major network things. They don't have the clicks. They don't have the views that they want you to have. But that's why they keep shoving them down your throat, because nobody's watching them, even there. And ultimately, it will collapse in on itself. That's
okay. Well, I haven't checked those numbers in a long time. This was just something I brought up a year or so ago that I've noticed because, like you said, I saw it suggested. I saw there was a bunch of likes on it, but I mean, it even floats over to Facebook and on Twitter. Oh my God, you see this funny sketch by Jimmy Fallon? But I'm but this is the only thing anyone ever sees of that because everything else just keeps getting pushed, because no one really wants to watch it because it's not that funny. Oh my God, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
Did we lose Phil?
Promo. And it is
we lost you for a second.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah.
Fuck. Sorry, but you guys hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, cool. Sorry, but I was saying the late night with Trevor Noah, how incredibly unfunny his promos are for the show. Especially now there's just no audience to even fake laugh at it. It's so bad. His thing, because he does it in his house now.
Comedy is just unacceptable, Phil. That's the point. We've crossed the bridge where comedy is not allowed. None of the shows are funny. It's just preaching. You go and how many people put out stand-up specials anymore? They're not even stand-up specials. They're applause generators.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. Yeah, fuck man. Woohoo. We're killing the planet. Who's with me? Let's kill all the polluters.
Well, I mean, it's
literally
funny I saw Louis C.K. the other night. Well, maybe like a week or two. Oh my God, it must have been a month ago now. Wow. Yeah, it was Louis C.K. came to like this random place in Magoobies in Timonium, like north of Baltimore. And I saw Louis C.K. there, and it was so fucking funny. And I'm like, you don't see this on TV. It's just not around. It doesn't exist, like you said. Like, that's perfect. It's just like they go for laughs and like, don't you guys hate men? Oh, yeah!
Jokes
like,
are
clap.
triggering.
Yeah.
They
It's
just
fucking
are.
hilarious.
Like, unless you're Brian Regan, who's got 30 decades of being inoffensive, like, what the hell you do?
It's funny you mention that because he's coming. Yeah, Brian Regan's coming to Magoobies next week.
Don't get me wrong, Brian Regan's funny, but he is funny, doing that.
Yeah, he's able to do that clean comedy well, which is kind of hard to do because it's usually not that funny, at least in my opinion.
It's not pushing anything, and that's kind of the comedy. The best comedy is subversive,
right?
Like, I know it's a created show, but how many of you guys watch that Marvelous Miss Maisel?
I do not.
If you haven't been, you totally should. It's probably one of the better. Anything that's good content wise is coming out on Amazon. Everything else sucks. Let's put it that way. But the whole point is, it's about a female comedian in the 1950s, and she's getting arrested the first couple episodes because of like the jokes she's telling.
With like Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce is a character in the show that like she does kind of spend some time with.
Yeah, he was getting. I mean, he would just get arrested all the time.
Well, they actually in the narrative in the story they meet in jail.
Oh, okay.
Because he gets arrested for a joke he's telling. She gets arrested because I think she shows her tits on stage.
Nice.
I think she gets on stage and she's just going exactly. Well, the whole thing is she's talking about like she's freaking out because her husband left or like is fucking some girl at work and she just kind of goes and does a stream of consciousness on stage and doing a good bit, and she's doing like a look if why would a husband leave this? Like, moves her tits out on stage as part of like, not an act, just her like, I don't know, the whole thing. It's very funny contextually. And so she ends up getting thrown in jail and wakes up next to this guy who looks like just a drunk asshole and turns out to be Lenny Bruce. But I think they're 3 seasons deep in the show. And they kind of, while she's doing her thing and kind of coming up in comedy, they're kind of also showing him at various points in his career where like he's also huge. Like he still kind of is a drunk layabout in the beginning. He's becoming more affluent and garnering more respect as time goes on within the show. So it's real interesting. But the whole point is everything that they're doing that was really good was subversive to what was going on around them. That's what sold.
Right.
Now you can't be subversive because subversive is marginalizing to somebody.
Of course. And that's the thing. It sucks about comedy. It's you really
there's plenty of comedians that are out there, that are doing stuff, that are being subversive, that are.
Where are my good jokes about people dying wearing masks?
Huh?
Where are my good jokes about people dying wearing masks?
I'm sure Tim Dillon has told a few of those.
I love Tim Dillon.
Yeah, I'm talking about guys like that, man. Like there are guys out there, but yeah, I mean they're not, they don't have late night shows, but the whole late night show thing, that thing's dying.
Well, no, that's exactly
dying. I mean,
yeah.
Well, and
everything is going to podcasts. It's going to, I mean, I guess YouTube's dying too, but it's going on to the internet is where it's going.
Well, the fact of the matter is like kids move to different things. They even like to be the places their parents are. So there's always going to be one next step, someplace hipper. And, it takes time for that to happen. Yeah. Facebook's only been around for how many years?
Well, I mean, look at TikTok, right? I mean, TikTok came on the scene and I mean, as much as it's easy to shit on TikTok, it's kind of changed the game a bit. I mean, the type of content that goes on there, it's,
It's because it's the Chinese and they've been data mining you for decades.
Sure, yeah.
They've got 30 years of data mining you.
Yeah.
The white women.
But I mean, it's another format TikTok that can be used, that's not locked into the Google, walled garden.
Oh, I thought they are now.
What, TikTok? No.
Yeah, because they weren't allowed to stay if they weren't.
No, they got bought. I think it was Microsoft.
Yeah, so they're part of that then.
Yeah, it's all really the same at this point. It's Apple, Microsoft.
You mean it's owned by Bill Gates now? Like, what do you mean it's not tied in?
Well, Bill Gates isn't the CEO anymore.
That's not really relevant.
He is our new overlord. He
is on the board of directors, and that's what matters.
Sure.
And your vaccine will be coming soon enough.
That's something that should definitely be addressed, the whole vaccine thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. We're running out of time tonight, so I don't even know if I want to get started with that. But what another thing that I wanted to hit on in this show is so Trump's on his way out. So there's this whole thing about the voter fraud cover up, and according to every single fucking post on Facebook, yes, he is. It's so sad where Trump even like what's the Indian holiday that just happened?
Rosh Hashanah, I don't know.
No, it's Indian holiday. It just happened, and he posted a picture.
Oh yeah.
He posted a picture of him saying happy whatever it was to and it was just innocuous, and it just came from his Twitter and literally, or no, it's Instagram, and right below it said, U.S. election results, Donald Trump lost the election. Like, that's what it says underneath it. He's just wishing people like a happy whatever, and it's
wow.
God, what the fuck it's called?
Yeah, I should know. My team, all my team members had to take off for that day. So
don't tell Derek.
Let me guess what industry you're in. That's awesome.
Funny. It's so funny and so true. But yeah, so going back to like, he just posted this thing. It's so simple and so benign, and it's what every politician does. But right underneath of it had a disclaimer letting you know, yeah, this guy, he's fucking done, and he's trying to fight it. And there's all these accounts of voter fraud that's happening, that's being silenced.
So is he really?
I think he is. I think there's a conceited effort that he's being black. Like, look at, like, they even chronicled it on a few other podcasts. So I mean, but like, even Fox News.
Just give me a moment here.
Sure, go for it.
The question is, to me, is he really fighting it, or is he one hell of a pawn? Because, man, it's so interesting how easily they managed to normalize literally telling you what to think and believe. Without Trump, the whole PolitiFact, telling you this is fake news, like on for Facebook and under everything that you do, seems like it would have been really, really hard to buy into. But now everybody does it. Everyone kind of waits to see, oh, does the computer tell me what's true and what's right? Because of Trump. So I'm not saying, he's part of the game, part of the scheme, but
he's being used by the people who are running the game. And I think
maybe.
Wait, you're insinuating that he is directing this?
I know, not directing it. That's retarded. He's too stupid.
What are you suggesting then? I'm not following you.
No, I'm suggesting that he's just part of the machinery. He's just another gear turning.
They're using his.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you can censor the president, then you can censor literally anybody.
Yes.
Right.
And more, I think it's more the normalizing of telling people what to believe is the important thing. It's not about censoring him so much as, let him talk.
Well, censor, what's right. Sure. Censor or reframe it, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think though, but he's trying to fight this thing like, hey, look, like, there's these claims coming from everywhere. Like, we all know that we've all chronicled the anomalies with the voting fraud, but this is shit that happens every election cycle that you're just hearing it now because it's happening to the president, where this has gone on for a long time.
Well,
it happens in every election, and even with like, okay, so it's people like post that saying like, oh, this happens every election, and they're getting banned on Twitter for saying that this happens every election.
Well, what's really funny about that is it does, and it's mentioned. As long as I've been an adult and able to vote legally, every election has been contested. Bush, Gore, like they've all had. It has been part of the narrative that it happens. The only one that it's ever not been trying to think how to say it. The only one in memory that they ever pushed it like they did now was the last one. And now suddenly they want to go back to business as usual, just saying, oh, well, it's whatever.
It's Ginger was talking about this before the podcast. She was saying like the sides have switched. In 2016, it wasn't democracy. Democracy seems to be only now when Democrats win. That's when it's a democracy.
Well, and that's the argument I've gotten into with people is that I don't really have a stake in this one way or the other as to who's the leader or the winner or whatever. I just think the goose is good for the gander. You guys wasted 3 years of his presidency fucking running him over the coals for something that you knew goddamn well didn't happen. I think that's fine for him to do too. Go for it. Gum up those works for another 3 years of somebody's presidency. That's all I give a shit about.
It's kind of an interesting thing too, because the whole thing with Russia was that Russia was interfering with the election. Well, how were they interfering?
No proof.
What's that?
No proof.
No proof. The only thing that they really got was, okay, they ran a bunch of ads. They, made a bunch of memes and spread
which is
them
called
out
advertising.
Which is called, yeah, sure. And, so how is that any different, aside from it being out of the country, than what literally every corporation has been doing for the past 2 months?
More importantly, why don't we? What about all of the advertising Israel does in every single one of our elections? We get into that.
Yeah, sure. But it's like
the Israel lobby is strong. Sorry, Jared. I don't mean to offend you.
You're not offending me.
Is that your?
I don't know. I just find that to be. I mean, I guess the retort would be, well, that's our good American companies that are, trying to convince people to vote. But I don't know. I see that as not interfering. And like you, I don't give a shit either way. But it's definitely providing influence. It's definitely,
to say there's
shaping it by using your corporate power.
There are enough anomalies in the election that I think it warrants more of looking at than the last time they did it, like with Trump. I think there's more possible issues with this than there was Russian collusion. I don't think much more, perhaps, but there's the genuine things that are anomalous to any other election in history that could mean something. They maybe don't, probably don't, but they could.
It's certainly worth investigating.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly it. It's like, well, if you allowed them to hold up his presidency for 3 years, I think goose is good for the gander. Just let it happen here.
Right. I mean, think about this. Like, if it's even okay. So whenever there was been a full domination from one political party over the executive branch, legislative, judicial, it's still nothing gets done. Nothing that really bad happens. Just the bombs keep dropping, taxes keep going up, spending keeps happening. So that's,
did you just say nothing bad? Nothing that bad keeps.
Well, no. I'm saying because you hear it from both sides saying, "Oh my God, if we don't win the presidency, then the court's gonna be filled with nothing but Donald Trump people," and then you hear from the right that, "Oh my God, AOC is gonna run the party and she's gonna put in all this Green New Deal and all this stuff," and that's just not gonna happen. That's just not in the cards.
Well, okay, so here's the rebuttal to that from I guess our perspective.
Sure.
There is always a continuous slide left historically.
It's progressiveness.
I kind of not to break away too much, but so Tom Woods did an episode this week with Per Byland, specifically about, is it reasonable for libertarians to stay out of politics? I don't know if either of you guys listened to that.
I thought that was Stowe Bishop.
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, Toe. It was Stowe. They have those Toe.
We need
and
to fact
Per.
check you.
They have those. Yeah, they have those.
Weird
They have those
fucking
3-letter names. Is what it is.
Yeah. Go on.
But it was just the idea of looking at what is the political. Because when you say it they're both parties are the same, or it's always the same outcome, it's not. It really isn't. Now there'll be certain. The thing is both places will ratchet in one direction or will ratchet a certain thing. I think you need to, for the physical largesse, the monetary largesse and the overspending. That's always Republicans because they can get away with it. Now, but when you have the Democrats in office, you see like that's where like your bad social policies all get enacted. That's where your, what is it? That thing that they did in college is Article 9, I think. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's where all that stuff happens. So the idea is like you're gonna push one part of the agenda more left, no matter what. It's just depending what it is. I think that if you keep pushing the monetary system for more left, then you're gonna end up kind of cratering the whole thing quicker. That's what I would see happening.
So should we be advocating for that?
It depends.
Should we accelerationist?
I don't know. That's a personal taste kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that depends on your life situation. Because right now, as a father of 3, living pretty much on a fixed income, I do not want to have an accelerationist style, approach.
How much are you putting in Bitcoin, bro?
I have Bitcoin. It's like $10 here, $25 here, whatever I can do. I'm doing that. But man, it's still it's not enough. It's not enough where I feel comfortable. Like, oh yeah, the end of the world happens.
Oh really? Because I'm pretty sure if the U.S. dollar collapses, that Bitcoin's gonna skyrocket.
It's true. But I'm just saying, like, I have like things that. Okay, so real quick,
just for the record, Bitcoin broke 16,000 this week.
Shit, yeah, I know, I saw.
And it's right there right now.
Which is awesome.
I was just checking my ticker.
Yeah,
I hope it keeps. I hope it keeps going up. But there's this thing by the Bundy family who's doing this thing called People's Rights. I think that's what it's called. And they asked me to be an area assistant. And the question is like, would you defend someone else's property from the cops or whatever? Like, it was one of those things, like, they're just trying to like gauge I'd be like a new Bundy. And I'm like, no, like, I got 3 kids. I can't go to jail to fight for other people's things.
You ever watch The Patriot, bro?
It's like what they said in the movie 7. It's like, it's only after you lose everything are you free to do anything.
Yeah. And that wasn't 7. That was Fight Club.
No, it wasn't. That was 7.
No, that was Fight Club.
I mean, either way, Brad Pitt.
I guarantee you, it's Fight Club. Yes,
dude, that's 7. He says it to Morgan Freeman.
Maybe he says it in both.
We got some. Where's our?
Let me look it up. Let me look it up. All right, keep talking.
What, Joe Rogan? Who's Joe Rogan's producer?
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. He's always fact checking everybody. We need that right now.
Put up, Jamie. Jamie.
No, it's Tyler Durden. It's Tyler Durden said in Fight Club, dude.
No way. Are you serious?
I swear to God, dude. I've seen that movie 100 times.
It would make thematic sense given what that book is about.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hit rock bottom, and then you're
but I thought that's what, like. All right, never mind.
For the record,
it doesn't make sense in 7.
For the record,
I'll take your word.
7 was like, "What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?"
What's in the box?
It's his genitals, right? His genitals are in the box.
No, it's his
wife's head.
Yeah.
I'm
going to spoil it.
Sorry, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. It's only been out for 23 years.
Yeah. Probably, right?
1997, man. That's 7. Like, are you sure? All right. Well,
dude, I just looked it up.
Chuck Palahniuk's an interesting guy.
Should I share my screen?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll take your word. God damn it. I could have sworn that was 7. Anyway. All right. Well, let's take this on the after hours where I can yell at you more. And so everyone, I just want to let you guys know we have t-shirts for sale over at libertariancountry.com. If you use the code PRL or PRL Podcast, you get a 10% discount. But if you want to spend over $50 more, because there's a lot of good stuff over there, you guys buy so much shit if you want. And you guys can get if you spend over $50 more and you want a 20% discount, you just use the code PRL2. And that'll get you that 20% discount. The podcast tonight has been brought to you by Conversations About Freedom with Moral Bob. He's still in Facebook timeout, so that me and him have been talking back and forth a little bit here and there. So he's still alive and well, if you guys were wondering where Moral Bob went. But I guess until next time, everybody, live free
or die.
Boom.